With Ryan Garcia's biggest fight to date just around the corner, there's a lot more resting on his shoulders than he may know. Find out what that is, and make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Stay tuned for more box talk and less BS on the King Me Boxing channel with your boy Shay. Alright, let's dig right into it. The Golden Boy promotion stable is looking awfully slim, especially ever since Canelo left a few months back. Although they do still have a few up and coming names, Golden Boy Promotions is looking pretty skin and bones. So far right now, Ryan Garcia is potentially going to be the one carrying the promotion on his back. Although they do have the likes of Virgil Ortiz Jr., he is still coming up through the ranks and developing a fan base which Ryan Garcia seems to already have in the way of Instagram followers, and that's what Golden Boy Promotions seems to be banking on. It really seems like they're hoping that all those Instagram fans will translate to boxing fans and eyeballs whenever the young kid fights. They also have Jaime Munguia, but with the possibility of him facing Triple G come next year, there is that chance that they will lose yet another name. And if Ryan Garcia does happen to lose to Luke, then that does spell disaster for Golden Boy Promotions. Now on to the fight. Campbell is definitely a good fighter. He has power, he has technique, he has a solid boxing pedigree, especially coming off the Olympics in 2012 where he did manage to get gold. I think that the fight is going to play out like this. If Ryan catches him early and is able to time him, then I think he'll be able to get Luke out of there. However, if Ryan falters and is dragged into the later rounds, I really think Luke's going to be able to mount an attack because he does remain accurate, and I think he could potentially drown Ryan down the stretch. Ryan is looking to fight Tank Davis if he does win this fight. However, that's a big if. Luke Campbell by no means is a pushover, and I really do hope that Ryan is not overlooking him. If Ryan does look impressive in this win, all props to him because he was supposed to have a difficult night out with Duno last time he fought, but he made short work of him and was able to have an easy night. However, Luke Campbell is not a Duno. He is much more experienced. He has been on these big stages and he always has performed well even though he has been knocked down, especially against Linares and Vasyl Lomachenko. He was knocked down but was able to rally back and put on a really good effort. So the whole talk about Tank from Ryan, I don't know if he's overlooking what he has in front of him right now, but he shouldn't be doing that. And although the talks about Tank may be a little bit premature right now, I think that fight would be extremely dangerous for Ryan, especially because we don't know if Ryan would be able to take that kind of power, and if there is anything in particular that really makes Gervonta Davis excel or stick out above the rest at lightweight and super featherweight, it is his power. However, there is question marks on Tank as well because we do not know how he would react to the type of speed that Ryan brings, because Ryan not only does he bring fast hands, but he also does wield power himself, although not as concussive as Tank's. Tank hasn't fought anybody at a top level at 135, but neither has Ryan Garcia, although if he does get past Luke Campbell, it would definitely trump Tank's achievements at lightweight. Both fighters have very similar resumes, and there are a few names of these young guns on the up and up that have that in common, and those names being Devin Haney, of course Ryan Garcia, Tank Davis, and none other than Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez is the one that does stick out head and shoulders above the rest of the class because he has tested himself. He has beaten Vasyl Lomachenko, who was the main guy at 135, and he has beaten other names such as Richard Comey and Nakatani, who just gave Verdejo not too long ago another loss, and he has proven himself to be the top guy at the lightweight division. The rest of the guys, although extremely talented and young, do have a lot of question marks surrounding their young careers thus far. Now switching directions briefly, Lomachenko had a very interesting interview with SnowQueenLA, so make sure you check out the link in the description box below. Follow that link and give it a watch. Make sure you hit that subscribe and like button on the Snow Queen's channel. Anyway, the following was what Lomachenko had to say in regards to Ryan Garcia. Apparently, they have history together going back a few years because they used to spar together. Doesn't appreciate when Ryan was going around calling his sparring sessions with Lomachenko, when in fact Lomachenko is assuring us that they were not that. In fact, it was anything but that, and all that Ryan was doing was falling back and defending himself, covering up because he seemed afraid. And he also claims that this is by no means a clout chase because he does have recordings of those sparring sessions with Ryan Garcia. He said the kid is extremely fast and sharp, but doesn't seem to think too highly of him, seeing as how he picked his old opponent in Luke Campbell to stop Ryan's stardom from growing any further. He also degrades Ryan's abilities by stating that his signature punch, which is the left hook, that although it is a very fast punch, he's only able to land it because he's fighting such relatively easy opponents that lack ability and technique themselves. And in fact, Lomachenko doubts Ryan will be able to land that devastating left hand on a much more solid boxer in Luke Campbell. The only thing that he mentioned that could potentially make Luke's mission impossible is how well he recovered after contracting COVID-19, especially since it is a respiratory virus. However, he believes that if Luke is back at 100%, he will definitely be touting the British fighter to hand Ryan Garcia his first loss. On a side note, he also spoke on his arch nemesis Teo moving up to the light welterweight division. He claims that Teo is essentially a no-hoper if he does move up, and he believes that all the money fights are pretty much at 135, so he doesn't understand Teo's thought process of moving on up to the light welterweight division. He does believe though that the guys at 140 would indeed run through Teofimo Lopez. Lomachenko also says that Tank Davis is his top pick amongst the young guns at 135, the young guns being Teo, Davis, Garcia, and Haney. Of course, he would prefer to face Tank because of the aggressive nature of his style, plus the fact that Tank is a southpaw helps Lomachenko lean towards him more so since he does enjoy fighting southpaws. If he could have his choice on his next opponent, he would love to take Gervonta out for a dance in the squared circle. Loma also rated Teofimo Lopez's power and claims that although he does hit hard, he may very well not be as strong as he looks because he didn't feel hurt by his power punches in their fight. Lomachenko discussed this and much more. One of the last interesting tidbits that I was able to get off that interview was that he was indeed hurt before going into the fight, and everybody was pretty much aware about the situation, and that's why he seemed so reluctant to throw any combinations. Thus, he played it safely, conserved his energy, and mounted the attack in the second half of the fight when he realized that he wasn't doing enough to win by the 5th round. He also stated that although there are a lot of uncertainties about his next fight, he most definitely is certain about one thing, and that is that he is remaining at 135, which opens up a lot of possibilities for all these young up-and-comers, especially now that we get pretty much a guarantee that Vasyl Lomachenko is staying at 135. That could give us potential matchups between Ryan Garcia and Lomachenko, Teofimo Lopez 2, Devin Haney versus Lomachenko, and of course, the most appetizing fight of them all, Tank Davis versus Vasyl Lomachenko. Now back to Ryan Garcia. Although the odds look to be in his favor, I really would not rule out Luke Campbell. Again, like I stated earlier in the video, if Luke Campbell is able to handle Ryan Garcia's speed, I think he might have the potential of drowning Ryan Garcia in the later rounds. But those are big ifs, and those are definitely tall tasks to ask from Luke Campbell. Either way, I'm really excited knowing now that Lomachenko is remaining at 135, especially with all these young guns gunning for the top spot. Whether Teofimo ends up moving up or not, we could rest assured that we have a lot of great matchups and potential mix and matches. Well, that's pretty much it for this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. May you all stay blessed. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and hit the notification bell to stay tuned for much more box talk. This is Shay at King Me Boxing Channel signing out.